The Polaroid stunned everyone. A girl no one recognized her, not from Maple Ridge, not from any missing persons database, but her eyes, terrified, and behind her, a wood-paneled wall with peeling yellow paint. Grayson zoomed in a motel and be the note attached. Read, you can't finish what you never started. Grayson scours every motel database in the region, looks for that wallpaper, that paint, that trim. He finds it in old, half-condemned lodge 60 miles south. Birch Pines, enclosed 5 years ago after a meth bust. FBI agents raid it. Most of the rooms are empty, but room 6 has recent footprints and a name scrawled on the mirror in soap. Ellie, they dust for prints match one, not Rick, not Caleb, but someone unexpected. Principal Harris. Principal Harris was believed to have fled the state. His car was found at a rest stop empty, no body, presumed suicide, but this print, only days old. They pull surveillance from nearby gas stations. One grainy image, a man in a hoodie dragging a child, not Rick, not Harris, but someone else, someone familiar. Grayson freezes the frames. It's the former Sheriff Brett Holloway. Sheriff Holloway had investigated Lily's case. He arrested Caleb, testified at trial afterward. He retired, moved to a lakeside cabin, but what if he didn't just miss it? Truth, what if he buried it? Grayson confronts him secretly, records the conversation. At first, Holloway denies everything, then his voice cracks. I told Rick to stop, I didn't know about the others. I didn't. Break says he'll give up the tapes, proof of who else was involved, but the next day, his cabin burns to the ground. Gone 2 days later, a package arrives in Grayson's studio, no return label inside. A USB folders labeled Ellie, payments, sheriff's ledger, dozens of names, dozens of amounts, payoff, silencing victims, covering tracks, protecting Rick in one final file. A video, Ellie talking to someone off screen. I don't want to be like the girl in the picture. The media explodes. Ellie's identity is confirmed. She's from another state, went missing 2 months ago. A multi-state task force is launched. Arrest begin. 6 more officials, 3 teachers, 2 retired cops. Grayson keeps publishing. Caleb speaks on a live stream. Maya joins him, and then the town holds a vigil for Lily Taliueli and the others, no one named yet. But in the back row, a man stands watching, unmoving, unblinking. Someone recognizes him. They call the Bibi. The time agents arrive. He's gone, only a folded note left on the bench. Some stories don't have endings, only silence that waits to speak again. Maple Ridge is no longer quiet, no longer safe, no longer pretending. The ghosts have names now, and one by one, their voices are breaking through. A week after the vigil, he came back. Rick Lantham caught on security footage in a Maple Ridge hardware store buying rope, gloves, a shovel. He looks thinner, wilder, but unmistakably him. The town panics. Schools shut down. Parents keep children home. The FBI sets up checkpoints, but Rick is already gone again like smoke, until one more message arrives, typed left on Grayson's windshield. You want an ending? Meet me where it started. It's midnight. Grayson goes alone to Lily's old backyard, the garden where her body was found. He brings a mic and a hidden camera. The moon is full, the wind is still, and then movement. Rick emerging from the tree's hollow eyes, pale hands. You wanted the truth, he says, so here it is. Rick talks for 22 minutes. Names, details, operations, explains how girls were chosen, how silence was bought. He doesn't flinch, doesn't apologize. They all helped. He says they all knew. Grayson asks, why? Rick stares into the camera. Because control is more valuable than guilt. And because Maple Ridge let me. He stands, walks back toward the woods. Burn it down, if you're brave enough. Grayson releases the audio, uncut and censored. It spreads like wildfire. Millions listen within hours. 8 resignations, 4 arrests. A federal investigation announced in the town. Split again. Some defend him, still say it's lies or manipulated. Others want trials. Tear down the school, rename the streets. Everyone wants something, but no one agrees. Grayson organizes one last vigil, nod in silence. But in testimony, survivors speak, families read names, teachers apologize. Even Caleb takes the mic. This place broke me, but I still believe it can choose to heal. Then the lights flicker, power cuts. A single screen lights up the square footage. Live Rick streaming from an unknown location. Still here, he says, still watching, still waiting for the town to mean its promises. Then it cuts. The case isn't closed, the names aren't done, the ghosts aren't buried, but now the world is watching, and the town of Maple Ridge, it stands trial, not just in court, but in memory, because silence is a choice, and now, so is justice. This isn't the end, it's what comes after the reckoning. The broadcast made history. Rick's voice, his confession, it echoed across courtrooms, living rooms, and protests. But now, silence again, and fear, because Rick vanished after the stream, and No one knows what he'll do next. Maple Ridge is unrecognizable. The school is shut down. Half the town board resign. Businesses close early. People whisper instead of speak. A local church is graffitied. You knew. Grayson receives a letter handwritten signed. Only with an X. I was one of them, but I survived. You don't know everything yet. He sends it to the FBI. They verify the handwriting. A girl who vanished in 2007, presumed dead, but maybe she isn't. She shows up 2 weeks later at Grayson's studio. Name Riley Hardage. Now 26, she sits down to record. Doesn't cry, just stares at the mic. They took us somewhere underground. Not just Rick. A group. She names them. 3 are still free. 1 sits on the state education board. They called it the program. Said we were part of a cleansing. Said no one would believe us anyway. The FBI cross-references. They find coded files. In Rick's drive, names, dates, transfers. Not just Maple Ridge. 8 towns, 4 states, all linked. The task force double senators demand hearings. A secret indictment leaks. It names A.U.S. Marshall. The conspiracy is real and massive. Grayson's podcast is now global, but he doesn't feel like celebrating because there's one folder left unopened, labeled Grace Harper disappeared in 2018, 16 years old, from a nearby county. Inside the folder, photo scans of journals, a video clip. She says one sentence. If you're watching this, they haven't stopped. Grayson digs, finds her mother, but she's dead. Car crash. Her father missing. A former defense contractor. And the house where Grace lived burned to the ground last year. Grayson wakes to a knock. No one there, just a package inside. A USB-A single line on a post-it. Grace was the last. Unless you fail. The video shows Rick in a cabin monologuing. You uncovered the truth. Now let's see what you do with it. He turns the camera away. Chalkboard with 10 names written, 7 crossed out, 3 still visible. 1 is Grayson. Justice was never the finish line, only the start. Now the web is exposed. The players are running, but the danger still circling, and the only question left: how many more names are on that board? Grayson stares at the chalkboard. Screenshot from the video. 3 names remain. Is 1 the second? Dr. Evelyn Shore, a psychologist once assigned to trauma victims from Maple Ridge. The 3rd, Alec Raines, a tech executive and former board member of a private school near one of the connected towns. Each name has a number beside it. Grayson. 3 Evelyn. 2 Alec. 1 A countdown. A kill list or something worse. Grayson finds Dr. Evelyn Shore in Vermont. She's retired. Keeps to herself. He confronts her gently. She doesn't deny it. I knew girls were disappearing. They brought me some to assess. Told me it was for a rehab program. She never asked questions. I was told they were being rescued from abusive homes. But the way they looked. Grayson records everything. Evelyn agrees to testify, but the next morning, she's found unconscious, pills in no. You don't get to pick your moment to tell the truth. She survives, but barely. Her countdown ends at 2. Alec Raines isn't hiding. He calls Grayson, invites him to his estate. I figured this day would come. He says his house is cold. Clinical security cameras in every corner. I was the infrastructure guy. Alec explains, I built the tech, the safe houses, the transfer points, but I never touched anyone. I was just logistics. He thinks that makes him clean. Grayson leaves, disgusted. The next day, Alec's house burns. Arson, no body recovered. His countdown 1-0. Grayson goes on air, releases everything, names, files, footage. He ends the podcast with a single line: if I'm next, let the world remember who lit the match. Then he vanishes 3 days off grid until he's found not hurt, but hidden. A friend smuggled him out after spotting a car staking out his apartment. Inside that car, a single object, a newspaper with Lily Carter's obituary circled in red. While in hiding, Grayson schedules an auto release, a full documentary, chronological, verified, exposing all. It drops on a Sunday. 30 million views in 48 hours. Congress opens an emergency panel. Interpol joins the manhunt. Trick's voice is used and adds his face on every major screen, but it's the ending of the documentary that shocks the world. A live clip streamed directly from Rick himself. I told you some stories don't end, they restart. And I've already started again. In a town 3 states away, a girl disappears. Same age range, same pattern, same fear at the site where she vanished. A note pinned to a tree. 0 doesn't mean done, it means repeat. Grayson returns from hiding, broken but relentless. Then we don't stop. We burn every hiding place, every tunnel, every silence. The new girl's name is Ava Thorne. 14, disappeared walking home from school in Lexington. Missouri she has no ties to Maple Ridge, no connection to the past cases except one. Her mother once worked at a group home run by the same funders behind Rick's program. Grayson knows this is no accident. It's the next chapter of the same plan, only this time he's not going to wait. Grayson returns to the public eye. He starts a coalition: survivors, journalists, whistleblowers. Launch Project Grace, a public database connecting missing children to past networks. Open source. Crowdsourced global. The website crashes within hours. From traffic volunteers flood in, retired agents, private investigators, even cyber hackers. Rick's empire is no longer hidden now. It's hunted. One hacker breaks into a deep archive, finds old, encrypted footage stored under a name. Sessions, the videos, confessionals, girls, boys, teens, each giving statements. Some coached, some crying. One tape breaks Grayson. Ava recorded a week before she vanished. She says, "They said if I speak, they'll finish what they started with Lily." Grayson played the clip. At a live press conference, America watches in horror that night. Someone breaks into Grayson's studio. Nothing is stolen, but written on the wall in red spray paint. Enough memory. Time for silence. Security footage catches a man in a mask. But the gate, the hands, the stance. It's Rick is back in town, and he's not hiding. Grayson sets a decoy, leaks a false location for a survivor meet up, wires the building, brings in federal agents. Rick takes the bait. He arrives in a stolen car, but he's not alone. Two former cops, a woman from the education board and a teenager with a taser. Agents swarm, shots fired. Rick is arrested alive, but his last words? "You stopped me, but memory will turn on you next." Rick goes to trial. Broadcast live. He pleads guilty, takes every charge. The court is stunned, but Grayson knows why. Rick wants the spotlight to be remembered, to shape his legacy, so Grayson counters. He announces the next season of his podcast, Echoes, the children who refuse to vanish. It's not about Rick and Marie, it's about those who survived him. And as the credits roll, Grayson's final words echo: "We can't erase evil, but we can choose whose stories live long."